I'm Jeremy White, and the tale of Josh Allen Road Warrior has begun.
I'm the big O, Jerry Ostroski. I'm the big O, Jerry Ostroski. We're all over the place, folks. We're as excited as you are. Hey, you America, you like Josh Allen? How about that, Josh Allen?
I'm Joe Marino, and that's a big old slice of humble pie for the Jacksonville Jaguars. You're watching Bill Squad, and this is the Locked On Podcast Network.
Who's ready, Bills Mafia? It's the Bills Squad. Everything Buffalo Bills, every week. Breaking down the big hits and game-changing plays the way only the Locked On Podcast Network can. Nobody circles the wagons like the Buffalo Bills. So gear up and squad up. The Bills Squad show starts now.
Welcome in, Bills Mafia. I'm all over the place. My apologies. Like Jerry said, this is all on me. I'm just hitting the wrong buttons out here, but that's okay because we're still kind of recovering. We had a lot of games like this during the regular season to prepare us for this kind of moment. Here we are on the Bill Squad Show. Today's episode brought to you by FanDuel. If you want to be right in the middle of the action this season, visit FanDuel.com and place your NFL live bets all season long. Apologies on the YouTube side. If you're watching there, you'll see we're all over the place, or I'm all over the place. But it is a victory Sunday, a playoff victory. The Bills go to Jacksonville and win 27-24. The fourth quarter goes nuts. Both teams score 2 touchdowns in the fourth quarter. It really opens up, the game does, and the Bills get the job done. Josh Allen, through injury, through getting knocked around, a gritty performance, and a win for the Bills. And we don't yet know who they will play. It's either going to be Denver or the winner of the Houston-Pittsburgh game. So we'll see. That kind of hinges on tonight, Chargers and the Patriots. But without further ado, Bills win. And gentlemen, heart rates, are they down? I mean, the takeaway from this game is it was a vintage Josh Allen game and a Josh Allen drive and a Josh Allen moment. You know, truly reminding the country, as you kind of said, Jerry, reminding everybody of who's still in charge maybe in this AFC.
Unbelievable game. And I thought that, for a long time watching that game, it was the first time where we did not run the football. We didn't run it very well. And we did get over the average. We went 4 yards over 75, okay? So we did get there, but it took us 26 carries and a 3-yard average. Now, granted, like I said, we have to keep doing that to stay in play action, but the thing that was nice to see, especially after getting bogged down, it seemed like in the third quarter, just wasn't hitting. Josh did a really good job of getting rid of the ball and taking the best play in football after a touchdown, which is a punt. We punted the ball, didn't turn it over. But, Joe Brady, and they found a way with some of the screenplay, some of the quick stuff to utilize that like the passing game. And then Josh Allen just didn't blink. I mean, he didn't blink. I mean, the throw that he made to Cooks had a guy blitzing in his face unblocked, just stoic the whole game. And I'll tell you what, for a while I was going to ask, yes, we won this game, but at what cost? Because the physicality of this game was amazing. I mean, both sides of the ball were hammering people. The Jacksonville defense is for real. They're as advertised. And I was wondering, at what cost? Because you wonder if Allen's going to get back up. But, man, just a masterful job. And there's, that one area that we talked about during the week, McDermott and Babbage confused Trevor Lawrence just enough to where the Bills were able to get those turnovers, and the rest is history. Unbelievable game.
Well, the heart rate's still over 120. So we hadn't settled down here, but let me tell you what. This win feels good, and it's a good reminder of how quickly you can be humbled in the NFL. It's only ever a week away. The Jaguars were hot. We heard all about it. 8 in a row. Trevor Lawrence, the most touchdowns over the last 8 games, the number 1 scoring offense over the last 8 games, shut down defense. You can't run on them. They take away the football. Josh Allen said, bet. Can't win on the road. Josh Allen said, bet. And it feels really good because we heard all week it was Jags fans, it was national analysts really just preparing for the funeral of the Buffalo Bills and for the criticism that they were so eager to deliver to Josh Allen, no matter what, if he couldn't pull this game out. Well, you know what? It was a defensive struggle for 3 quarters, and then Josh Allen invited Trevor Lawrence to a battle of haymakers, and guess what? 17 landed the knockout blow, and Trevor Lawrence made the big mistake. Feels good, boys. This one feels real good.
The big mistake, the final play, Trey White tips a pass, and Cole Bishop comes up with the interception. And how many times did Trey White make a big play in this game?
Oh, it's unbelievable. Trey White made plays all over the field. And Jeremy, I got to give you props as well. Your X factor was huge today. Cole Bishop was masterful, especially in the second half when Poyer goes out of the game, and Jacksonville figured that out real quick and started picking on Hancock. But, man, those two, just phenomenal football by both of them.
Yeah, this defense, we'll get through like injuries and see what happens. We had a few players leave with an injury. Jordan Poyer left. He was downgraded out. Gabe Davis out of this game as well, and doesn't look good for Gabe. So, I mean, the story of the game will be, of course, the victory, and we'll get through some of the decisions and things that happened along the way. Tomorrow, maybe we take stock about what the cost actually was. But you're right about the physicality. Like the physicality, everybody hitting hard. There's a couple runs here where Hancock's coming up to just club Etienne, who hits him right back. Like the Bills are often talked about as a team that might be a little smaller, right? And they can get pushed around from time to time. But I don't know. I felt they came with a certain intensity today, and whether that's a representation of their experience or whatever it might be, I thought they played a really intense brand of football today.
I'll say this about this game. Like you said, I mean, any catch was contested. Any run was physical. A ball was caught. There was no really run after catch except for Shakir had some success in that, but guys were getting on the ground. And, man, I mean, Jacksonville was as advertised. But this game went as I thought it might go. And I thought that team was good, but that question mark always was Trevor Lawrence. And as much as – and it was almost like the narrative was too much for Trevor Lawrence. Like, it was like they were trying to psych themselves up. That, you know, he's going to be the guy. He's going to be the guy. We talked about it Thursday. You know, they finally are in a position. They drafted this guy first overall or whatever it was. And now this combination of him and Cohen, they're going to have that success. And while they're good, to me today anyway, in Jacksonville, that was the one piece. That was that one piece. That, and then, of course, you know, Wyatt Earp on the other side of the sideline. I mean, there was – you know, like he's here all the time. He's hurt this, that, and the other. And, you know, like Doc Holliday says in Tombstone, maybe he wasn't quite as sick as he made out. But, dude.
He took some hits.
Oh, yeah. Unbelievable. Unbelievable physicality.
I mean, Jerry, I think it's fair. Give Jacksonville a lot of credit. You know, I certainly want to take my moment there to take a victory lap just based on all the hype that they deserved. They played a tough physical game. They made plays. But at the end of the day, you know, the Bills found a way at the end of it, right? The fourth quarter was, I mean, it was literally haymaker after haymaker. And, you know, I was nervous about how Sean managed that end of game sequence, you know, giving that time to Jacksonville, especially when they only needed a field goal. And we know who they have at kicker in Cam Little. But ultimately, the Bills were able to make the play at the end of the game to close it out. And it's so many things that we wanted to see from this team in the playoffs, whether that was a big defensive play to win a game or, you know, for Josh Allen, it's his first game-winning drive in the postseason. You know, their first game-winning or first road postseason win. Like, there were some big boxes checked in this football game, and Jacksonville showed that they're a tough team. But, you know, next year might be better for them.
Watching them play, real quick, I thought, you know, the talent that they have and the way they're built, put Josh Allen on that football team. That's your next dynasty. They win the next however many. I mean, think about it. I mean, I thought they were as advertised, but again, the one spot that I thought would blink.
Quarterback. Yeah. Yeah, like, it's funny. Like, we can watch these games, and sometimes you'll look inside a quarterback's helmet, look at his eyes, and think like, oh, he's deer in headlights or whatever. I thought from the first snap of this game that Josh looked pretty dialed in. You know, the Keon Coleman throw, let's talk about that one real quickly. Coleman has to play in this game, which is not a surprise to me that he finds his way back in the lineup. And I don't think he did anything crazy on that play, but that's a hole shot. And Josh sees that and drops it right where he has to. He had another that went right over top of a defender on the first level to get to the second level. I thought 17 was dialed in pretty much from the start. He was taking a lot of take what's there for you. There's a lot of short Shakir throws. Shakir was huge in this game. Shout out Khalil Shakir, who caught everything thrown his way, yards after catch. I know plenty of us get frustrated with the screen calls. They were working today, and they worked even when Jacksonville knew they were coming. There's a couple plays where you could see afterwards the defenders get up and they pound the ground. Like, we know what they're going to do, and they still got away with it anyway. So the numbers game of it, the weapons that were involved in this game, Dalton Kincaid barely, but he was there and he caught a big touchdown. Like, at the end of it, He's 273 passing for Josh and 27 points. And I'm sure there are plenty of Bills fans that are going to look back and think like, man, they did it. And how did they do it? How did they get 27 points? I mean, the quarterback did a lot of it. He did an awful lot.
Khalil Shakir's got the dog in him, right? I mean, the dude has a championship mindset. When it's postseason time, his ability to stay up and not go down and create extra yards after the catch, the physicality, I mean, he's got it. He's made some unbelievable plays, and he had a tough assignment against Jerry and Jones. And I made a horrible prediction on my last episode of Locked On Bills. I said, for the first time in 4 playoff games, Khalil Shakir is going to have less than 6 catches. Well, he said bet. He had 12 on 12 targets.
12.
And some huge chain-moving plays. And so, Josh is going to go where he trusts it. And, obviously Shakir is a player that's earned a ton of his trust. It's good to see Cooks make some plays on the field. Of course, the one play that you wish that he would have caught more cleanly that ultimately got ruled incomplete. But
I thought that was complete. I thought that was complete.
I thought officiating was spotty at best. I thought it was almost over officiated.
I think it's so tough. Like a lot of times on these over reviews of catches, if the ball doesn't look the way they like it to look, they'll just call it incomplete. Like it was a sloppy catch, but I don't think it actually touched the ground. But they don't
overturn it as well.
Right.
Irrefutable evidence or whatever,
Yeah. But looking at this thing, I thought Jacksonville made 3 huge mistakes in the game, which probably cost them the game. Of course, the one being the interception at the end. Of course, the Cole Bishop picks off. The other one being the gift that Trevor Lawrence gave us on the 4th down go for it in the second quarter, where he puts the shin on the ground and we don't give up any points there after the fumble on the kick return. That was it's very rare as the play of the game in the second quarter. That very well could have changed the tide. The other one is Liam Cohen. As much as we want to give him all this pub and credit for being a genius, why the hell he didn't keep running the football? I don't understand, because that keeps Josh Allen on the bench and it lets them keep going. And we did not. I mean, they ended up with 154 yards on 23 carries at an almost 7-yard average, and they're not running the ball late in the game. Come on now. That to me was a huge mistake as well.
So we've seen teams fall victim to this against the Bills more often than it surprises me so much. Like, you need to validate your quarterback so much that you're not taking advantage of a super vulnerable component to this Bills team. And look, there's no situation where it's not okay to run the ball against the Bills. They'll give it to you. They will give it up. You got to call it. And this is another coach that fell victim to whatever urgency this is to validate quarterbacks instead of just do the thing that really works against that team. The Bills' pass defense is excellent. It's been excellent against great quarterbacks.
Yep.
And you want to go out there and get away from what was working? Thank you very much.
A mistake-filled game, and the Bills had their share of mistakes as well, whether it's the Cooks finger quotes drop, Ray Davis's fumble, penalties. While we're on Liam Cohen and his mistakes, I thought the biggest mistake, we'll probably get into what happened at the end of the first half, which was a mess all around from the officials and everything. The biggest mistake I thought of the game might have been the Jaguars, after the 20-yard Trevor Lawrence scramble, just spike the ball. You got time. You got plenty of time. Instead, they eat, 30 seconds to take a false start? Huge mistake. You're going to need those seconds. And then sure enough, they end up being 1 second short of having a clean look. They gave him the kick anyway. But I thought Liam Cohen made a bunch of mistakes in this game as well. I thought game management, he was very bad.
Huge on that previous series by the Bills to go out there and act like they're going to go for it on 4th down to force that Jaguars timeout, which obviously was monumental. And then not, obviously they missed a kick. So that feels great.
Yep.
But that drive could have looked differently.
For sure.
While we're on the final drive for the Bills, did you think they should have kneeled it one time?
Yeah.
I did. And the most compelling argument for, yes, they should have kneeled it. Whatever. They won the game. We're not mad about that. The defense got a chance to show up, and they did. But in that moment, when it's 1st and goal for the Bills at the 1, the best argument to kneel it is go back and watch what the Jags did. They backed up. They let them in. We need you to score. We think you're going to get in. We're not going to stop Josh Allen 4 times from the 1-foot line. So they let him right into the end zone and said, all right, let's go trust Trevor Lawrence. And, of course, Trevor Lawrence turned it over. So
I can understand why they didn't, though, man. I mean, you think about some of the past games in the playoffs that they've had. That's just more opportunities to have a bad snap, bad exchanges. You never know. You just never know. So it's hindsight's 20/20, but I don't know, man. I agree. You'd like to have eaten more clock up, but still. And then we go right in that scenario that I've been having nightmares about all week, that they got an opportunity to go, 30 or 20 yards to be able to kick a 70-yarder to tie it up. I'm like, come on now, this is nuts. But
well,
no, I kind of understand where they're coming from.
I'm not sure what your guys' mindset was when that drive started, when Jacksonville got their last opportunity. I figured the Bills were going to have to get a takeaway. Yeah, I didn't know it was going to happen so quickly on the drive, but that was amazing. But I didn't feel good about just organically stopping them for 4 downs, right? That's the difficult part, and we know the range that kicker had. And so I think they needed a takeaway. And
they got it.
Boy, they got it. They got it.
Bill Squad Show. If you want to drop us a comment, please do. We'll get to some of yours throughout the day, and lots of things to talk about in this game, whether it's injuries, the way the game played out. We'll get you some of the stats. It's post-game, talking Bills-Jags, and the Bills win. First loss for the Jacksonville Jaguars in 9 games. They had been riding an 8-game win streak. The line had moved to favor them, and then the Bills went ahead and won the game anyway. So we'll talk about it more with you here. It's the Bills Squad Show on the primetime players, the guys that perform the best as we roll along here on the Bills Squad Show. This episode of Bill Squad is brought to you by Prize Picks. Whether you're starting a new routine or jumping into player projections for the first time, trying something new can feel like a challenge. But with Prize Picks, it always feels good to be right. With high-pressure football matchups every weekend and elite hoops action almost every night, the action never slows down. And Prize Picks lets you stay in control. It's a daily fantasy app that makes watching sports even more exciting by letting you build lineups based on player projections. No drafts, no waiting. Just pick more or less and play your way. Getting started on Prize Picks, it's quick and simple. The app is super easy to navigate. It's made watching games more engaging, especially when following individual player performances. Whether you like flexibility, options like flex pay, where you can still get paid even if one pick misses. The new early payouts feature is a game changer. It's a player starts hot, you can cash out before the game ends. Download the Prize Picks app today and use code LOCKDOWNNFL to get $50 in lineups after your first $5 lineup. That's code LOCKDOWNNFL to get $50 in lineups after your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, it's good to be right. We're back here on the Bills Squad Show. I think we're going to put some of our biggest numbers ever on the board in terms of live viewership. So if you're with us, welcome. My name is Jeremy White. Joe Marino's here. The big O Jerry Ostroski's here. We talk twice a week about the Bills on YouTube in the podcast that goes in the Locked On Bills channel. So come hang out for a while. Watch every episode if you want. Subscribe to us on YouTube and subscribe where you get your podcast on the Locked On Bills channel. All right, 27-24. Josh Allen we mentioned. Trey White we mentioned. Can I mention the offensive line here? I thought Allen was pretty clean in this game. He got sacked the one time late, but overall, I don't know, Jerry, if I was envisioning like a Houston game level, he's under duress, but I felt like he had time to be comfortable back there. And, with a guy that might have tweaked his knee, like there were some scary moments where I wondered his ability to get away from pressure, but I thought they did a really good job protecting him.
Yeah,
You're on mute, Jerry.
Yeah, I thought they did very well, too. I thought they did a great job protecting them. I thought that there wasn't many clean runners. The one clean runner we took advantage of with the big pass to Cooks, but it was real quick. I think it was the first series when we got the ball out from our 6-yard line. I believe we're right, 6-yard line, 5-yard line, got it out of our end to kind of eat some time and get field position again. I think it was the third down play in that drive, the first third down play. Josh read something, and he changed the protection, and he brought Dawson Knox back in the backfield, and then he had the back on the other side, and both of them stayed in and blocked. I was like, okay, this is different. We're not just going to go ahead and rodeo this thing and try to figure it out. So I thought they did a very good job with their plan. They kept people around. They utilized backs and tight ends. Those are two very talented pass rushers. And while we saw, Hines Allen show up a little bit late, he did get the one sack. There wasn't any really right off the bat immediate losses as far as that goes. They got a little bit of push, but it wasn't, clean stuff. So I thought they played well. I thought the plan was proper this week. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, I thought they did a good job with it. And certainly I know that there was some belief from the Jaguars faithful that they were going to replicate what Houston was able to do. Well, I got news. With all due respect, those rushers are not Will Anderson and Daniil Hunter, and the Bills met the moment. I thought they did a good job with their protection schemes, but I thought Josh was really efficient getting the ball out of his hands, except for the one sack on second down. He took a 12-yard loss to make it 3rd and 20 on 2nd and 8. Can't have that. But other than that, I thought he did a good job being decisive and getting the ball out of his hands. And so, I think there's a relationship between how the quarterback operates and how the protection scheme operates. And it felt very synced up in this game. And it needed to be. I mean, that Jaguars defense is tough. They don't give up much yards after the catch. They play top down with good vision, and they contest. They're a good unit. And I think the decisiveness of Josh Allen this game was really critical to help with the pass protection.
Dawson Knox, Khalil Shakir, both heavily involved. No Ty Johnson for this game. We worried how big of a impact that would be. Frank Gore gets out there for some snaps. Actually caught a pass too. So no Ty Johnson. Like I wondered about their ability to pick up the pass, pick up the blitz, pick up the sim pressures, because that was Jacksonville's calling card coming in, was that they would confuse you, that Allen would need to set the protections correctly. They'd need to get in a good spot for that. And that was pretty much there. You also saw a passing game that, listen, Brandon Cooks is winning down the field. It is happening for this team. Whether that's a catch or not a catch, it's happening. And I think it is super important that he has that ability for them, because this offense had been missing it for quite some time. And as much as you might want it from Gabe or Keon Coleman or Tyrell Shavers or Josh Palmer, you finally have a player that is actually, I know it was ruled incomplete, but it wasn't the only one. Like, you get him down the field, it continues to happen. And for me, that's something that gives me a lot of optimism about their chances going forward.
It's a new thing for defenses to have to think about, right? It's a new layer to this offense that's being introduced at a tough time to really understand and know what to expect with it. And you mentioned he didn't catch a one ball cleanly that was ultimately ruled incomplete, but even on the play earlier in the game down the right sideline that Josh overthrew it by just a little bit, needed a little bit more air on the ball. Like, he, again, an available target down the field, and it's something that's happened really since he's been on the team that we haven't seen in so long. And so obviously probably figuring out that chemistry on the fly is tough, like late in the season. It's not like they had all the off-season throwing opportunities and getting together, on their own time and OTAs and all that stuff. You got to figure it out on the fly. And it's been really cool to see that come together. It's mattered a ton. And I thought that was a huge layer to this offense kind of opening up. And then look, I think there was a lot of frustrating elements to the offense at times in this game, especially with first down play calls. But when they scored the touchdown to Kincaid, they got away from some first down tendencies. They had the first down completion to Knox and then the first down completion to Kincaid for the touchdown. Both play action plays. Those were huge. It took a while to set them up, but when they showed the counter, they made the play, and it was huge.
Exactly. Kincaid, he scores a touchdown on what looked like was going to be another Khalil Shakir screen. Kincaid runs out like he's going to make the block, keeps going down the sidelines, and scores a touchdown, obviously. I want to go back to Ty Johnson. I thought his omittance from this game was a huge, huge deal. And I think it had a lot to do with maybe the Bills. And granted, I know this Jacksonville team, they're as advertised the way they stopped the run, but still, I think the Bills would have had more success running the ball if Ty Johnson was in. It just seemed like, James Cook got nicked a little bit early. He only had 15 carries. There was just some things, they pulled back and went to that predominant passing game. But I think if Ty Johnson was playing, they probably maybe would have hit a little bit more in the running game if he was available. But they got through it. Frank Gore makes a catch after weeks on the practice squad, and props to him. But, yeah, I thought that the Ty Johnson not playing was a big deal.
Bills win in Jacksonville. Give you some of the stats from this game and things to look at. I don't know if you'll ever get 24 points against being looked at as like a defensive masterclass, right? Like, it's hard to play defense in the NFL these days. It's hard to stop good offenses, good quarterbacks, good receivers, and the Bills have their flaws in the running game. But, man, to the first half of this game, probably until the fourth quarter, and then even in the fourth quarter, like, they get the job done. Guys, I feel like I don't want this game to be swept aside as like, oh, Josh just did the thing again, because he did. But this defense and the way they coach it up, it's something we have talked about through the weeks, that they have to coach so much above their talent. And their defensive line today, the guys they dressed on their defensive line, like Larry Ogunjobi isn't active. I got Andre Jones Jr. is up from the practice squad. Matthew Judon's a name. He's not in there. Like, they're just piecing it together, and yet they are still finding a way to get results. So to me, this is an Allen game. They're all Allen games, but this is a McDermott and Babbage game in a very big way.
For sure. And losing Poyer during the game was a disaster. I mean, they went after Jordan Hancock relentlessly. And in both of those drives, they had the touchdown drive where they had a 3rd and 2 and a 3rd and 4 completion. One was for 18 on Hancock. The other was 14 on Hancock. The other touchdown drive, they tagged him for 2 big plays down the field. And I have questions about why Cam Lewis wasn't in there. You know, I've talked on this show that, you know, Hancock's been really shaky this year. And I think he got exposed at a big moment, but they were able to overcome it. And it made it harder than it needed to be. Like, I wonder, you know, if those drives look a little bit differently just based on how much they were picking on Hancock. But yeah, I think it's a good call out. They continue to figure it out. A lot of pieces that they need to have weren't available, lost more of them during the game, and still came out with the biggest of stops and the biggest of moments.
Guys, think about this. Through the last 8 games of the season, Jacksonville was the top scoring offense in the league. They're averaging 33.6 yards a game, 351 yards, 242 passing yards, right? Today, they have 205 passing yards, under that on total yardage, and then the Bills hold them to 24 points. Say what you will about some of the lapses in the run defense and things like that. This Bills defense, that was a heck of a performance on the road. Yep. And it went kind of how I thought. That secondary, man, and it was hard, like Joe just talked about, with the Hancock situation in the second half with Poyer going out, but still confusion, huge plays, interceptions, masterful job by that secondary today in Jacksonville.
What was happening in the run game that they were getting gashed so badly? It was almost all to the outside.
Speed. Outflanked. They were outflanked the whole game. The game plan, to me, what they had as far as crashing the ends, you saw kind of a microcosm of it when they were just praising the blind crackback block on Bosa. You know, they just were able to get the edge. They were able to get C-gap, D-gap at will. And why they didn't keep doing it, I have no idea. But they went away from it. But, you know, like I said, and there was a couple times where they were able to cut back inside with Etienne, but most of it was outside, quick speed stuff, like full-blown sweeps that was just outflanking the Bills.
They got 3-4-3 running backs, right? And Etienne and Michelle Tootin and LaQuinn Allen, who obviously didn't have that much of a role offensively. But, I mean, it's not a bad idea against the Bills. I mean, like, Shaq Thompson and Matt Milano are really dynamic athletes when they're in their prime. Those guys are both on the wrong side of 30. Get them running, and then obviously, you know, you kind of set up some good angles with those crashes or the crack block, at least on the Bosa. Then, you know, they went at Andre Jones a couple times when he was the outside player and kind of was able to mash him down and run off of it. So, the first play, the tackle for a loss by Matt Milano, felt like 100 years ago after they kept on hitting the edges, and thank God they stopped trying to.
I thought the one thing that Cohen does on those pitches is, instead of just pitching the ball, he goes to almost like a rugby pass where Trevor Lawrence turns and it's kind of like an underhanded spin pass, so he gets out there that much quicker and they get the edge that much faster. So obviously whatever they saw, they went after it and it worked. Thank you, Liam, for not continuing to do it the rest of the game.
Yeah. Bills win. We're talking about it with you here on the Bills Squad Show. We'll get some of your comments in throughout. And first one comes up here. Question for the panel. The offense had to be set for an entire second before they could snap the ball. How the entire end of half sequence even happened? Should we tackle that for a minute here? The Bills get called for offside because the Jags are trying to run up. And Jerry, do they have to be set for a second? What is the ruling? How long you must be set as an offensive player before there's a snap?
I don't know how long. I think there's like a definite time as far as set for a second or whatever.
It's when like a beat.
When the wide receivers go into motion, they have to get reset. You can't snap the ball before they get themselves set. As far as everything else, there's no motion in that play. They get to the line, they can snap it. There's no that offensive line, and everybody was set as soon as the receivers get there, they can snap the ball. So the part about a second has to do with when there's motion coming across. You've got the receiver has to make sure he's set before he goes.
Yeah. Or you have two in motion, right? Yeah.
Right.
Set for a second. So,
right. So
he's got to get back, man. He's got to get back.
Well, he's got to get back. But then the other thing is they could have complained. He ran into the official.
Official was
I guess the official was in the way. That was a weird sequence. And I don't know how they could tell that ball was snapped before that was ridiculous.
No, it was a mess. And if you were on Twitter, everyone tweeted "ball don't lie" at that exact moment because they didn't deserve the 3 and they didn't get the 3. One thing I'm noting from this game in terms of what's the difference, I got one for you. Red zone. The Bills are 3 for 3 in the red zone in this game, and the Jags go 3 for 4. Everyone remember the one they didn't get it in? That fourth down when Trevor Lawrence's shin is down. They went for a fourth down, and You know what I thought multiple times in this game? Because Lawrence might have called his own number on a draw player once or twice. I thought he's feeling himself. The last couple weeks he's been running. All of a sudden we're talking about total touchdowns for Trevor Lawrence, the same way we do for Josh. And when Lawrence took off a couple times, he had a couple nice scrambles, but the other times I thought, like, you're not that guy, to use one of the things Jerry says.
No.
You're not that guy. You're not Josh. You're not powering through three dudes. I mean, ultimately, the Bills' final drive, they win on like an 11-yard tush push, right? Like they get it from the
4th and 1. On
right.
4th and game. Season's over if you don't
Right.
get it.
They get from the 11 to the 1 and then get in on the very next play. And like for Lawrence, he had some highlights, but you're no Josh Allen. And like to me, that's if you're looking for the shouty show talking point, I'd be all over that. Like Trevor Lawrence is no Josh Allen, and we all know it.
I think the Trevor Lawrence that frustrated for years was in this game, whether it was not being able to convert with his legs on a big opportunity, 2 interceptions. Don't forget about the Shaq Thompson play early in the game. I mean, that's cover 2. That's a great job being the pole defender and breaking on the ball and picking it off. And then of course the backbreaker at the end. I mean, that's what Trevor got away from, and then it manifested itself here in a big stage.
When I look at him, I think of obviously he's physically gifted and has a lot of ability. He lacks that feel. There's not a lot of feel out of him. That's the one thing I think Josh excels with. He's just got that feel for the game and where there's soft spots and when to go, when not to go. And you saw that today. I don't see that consistently out of Trevor Lawrence at all.
One thing, let me give a stat on Lawrence. Someone sent this to me in pregame, and I mentioned, I tweeted it out, mentioned that I liked it. And as soon as you hear this, you'll know it. It's how often Trevor Lawrence gets balls batted down. And the Bills batted how many balls in this game? 4 or 5? Like I should pull up the official chart, but Deion Walker got one. Christian Benford got one. Like they're batting balls all day. And maybe that's when you say like he lacks that little bit. Is it the touch on the second level passes that he's always trying to drive a ball in? There's a play where on the broadcast, Nance and Romo said if he had layered in properly, he might have a touchdown. Instead, the ball's like he's the field goal kicker that's always driving it too low.
But that, again, that's to me real quick, Joe, that's part of feel. I mean, you see quarterbacks, you'll see Josh Allen change his arm angle all the time to get around stuff like that. That's a feel thing. And he just doesn't have that feel to me in the game.
Yeah, I wrote about this in the Herd Mentality Substack in my scouting primer. I talked about exactly what you were getting into there, Jeremy, with the batted throws. And Trevor Lawrence has a very unique mix of he holds onto the ball for a long time. So his average time to throw is 2.75 seconds, which is 22nd in the NFL. But you're also 9th highest in percentage of reads to your percentage of throws to your first read. So you throw to your first read in the top 10, but your bottom 10 in average time to throw, like you can understand like there's a problem. If you're going to go to your first read that often, you also can't hold onto the ball that much. And it speaks to kind of an indecisive nature that exists with Trevor Lawrence. And yeah, he's really gifted, but those extra ticks, they're a big deal. And that's how you get some batted down throws and maybe some contested points, catch points, and why Jacksonville's been among the highest in drops for years under Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah. And this is another one here. Like the Bills are ready for that. So here's the stat. He's number 1 in the league this year in batted balls, 20. And he was top 5 in both 2022 and 2023. Like at this point, not surprised the Bills had a scouting report out, but your pass rushers had to know anybody that's coming, whether it's Benford on a blitz or if it's Deion Walker, whoever it is, like, hey, count to 2. Jerry, do defensive linemen, would they do that? Like a couple steps and then arms up, or are you reading the quarterback's eyes? Like if you're looking to bat a ball down or 2, you're just watching the quarterback?
So what happens is you're into your pass rush as a defensive lineman and you're working your moves. And then if you get to a point where you get stagnated, okay, you get blocked, your pressure or your impedance or whatever gets stopped, then you turn into a 7-foot center in the NBA. You start looking where the ball is and you get your hands up, right? And like Deion Walker, if he plays in this league for 6-8 years, he might be the all-time leader in passes batted down. I mean, if there's something that dude can do, man, it's alter the passing channels of a quarterback. And by the way, I thought he stepped up today. But when you look at this whole thing, that's what it is. And then as an offensive lineman, you got to have feel as well, because you're taught when you're pass blocking somebody, and all of a sudden that defensive lineman kind of goes still, or all of a sudden he goes soft and he stops running at you. you got to go and run directly at him to either keep his, because once you go to block him again, they'll either keep their hands down or you grab the V of the shoulder pad in here. So when they go to jump, you just kind of pull them down and they can't get there. So it's a cat and mouse game, but that's where it all kind of all fits.
The Bills snap distribution for the defensive tackles in this game it's crazy. So the Bills played 56 snaps of defense. Yeah. Check this out.
I bet you Deion Walker played 30 some snaps today.
Higher. He played 41 out of 56. Daquan Jones played 39, but here's where it gets interesting. TJ Sanders 17, Phi Mathis 6.
Yeah.
In a game that they had Larry Ogunjobi as a healthy scratch, they're telling you who they trust. It's Jones and Walker right now, and like as much as we have to, we'll play Sanders and Mathis, but they had a lot on their plate in this game and certainly answered the call.
I mean, I haven't seen as big of a misses in a position group in quite some time. I mean, one of your prize free agent signings is a healthy scratch in the playoffs. Your second round pick is getting 18 plays. Come on, man. That's nuts.
Survive in advance. And we joked with this before we came on the air. I feel like Bills Mafia happy today. I tweeted out during the third or fourth quarter, are we having fun? And I was besieged with 10,000 no's. Like, it's just like so stressful, these games. I hope you like stress, because I think the rest of the playoffs are going to look like this. The offense gets it done with its 27 points, and Allen gets them over the line. But man, there were stretches where they could have put the game away and could have layered onto like a 2-score game, and it was just tough sledding. And I expect that to happen against Houston if they play Houston. Could happen against Denver as well, like on the road. So the tests are going to continue to be there, but I want to give the Bills full marks today. Like, just a really impressive road win. One monkey off the back, like you said, Joe. Check the boxes. No more winless on the road, and they beat Jacksonville today. We'll get to more of your. Go ahead, Jerry.
No, go ahead. You go. I'll stay on the way back.
All right, when we get back, we'll get some more comments in, and also talk about maybe the next matchup. There are 3 teams they could play. We'll get into that. Of course, it's a Victory Monday, Victory Sunday, Victory Monday. Bills win, another playoff win for Josh Allen and these Buffalo Bills. It's Jeremy White, Joe Marino, and the Big O, Jerry Ostroski, here on Bill Squad. This episode of Bill Squad brought to you by FanDuel. That's right. Wild card round is here, and it has been wild. Holy cow. FanDuel's officially in playoff mode. Every game day during the NFL playoffs, FanDuel's giving customers even more ways to get in on the action, because right now, every NFL playoff game day, FanDuel users get a profit boost pack waiting for them inside the app. Each game day, you'll see a pack loaded with multiple profit boosts. You can apply those to the bets you like the most. Open that pack first thing on game day. See what boosts you want to apply. The boosts let you lean into your game day instincts, whether you're backing momentum, defense, quarterback play, or coaching. The boosts give you more juice on the bets you already like instead of forcing you to bet something new. Every play feels bigger, and the boosts make your bets feel that way too. You make your picks, then apply your profit boosts to go after even bigger payouts while the playoffs get rolling. So visit FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL, and grab your profit boost pack every NFL playoff game day with FanDuel. It's the Bill Squad Show. Jeremy White, Joe Marino, and the Big O, Jerry Ostroski, here on the Locked On Bills channel on the Locked On Podcast Network. Jerry, you had something you want to get right before I launch into something?
I had a funny story to go at the game. We're talking about everybody being uneasy and all that, and it's pretty historically known that it's hard to watch football games with me. I don't usually take well and kind of have outbursts and stuff. And so Josh goes ahead and runs the touchdown in and tweaks the knee. And I'm over there losing my mind, like, this is bad, whatever. And my son Owens is sitting over on the couch. He looks at me, Staff, we're cool, man. He goes, we got Mitch Trubisky backing up Josh. He goes, he's MVP of the league. And I look at him, I go, MVP? He goes, yeah, he won the Nickelodeon MVP this year. He goes, we got MVP. He goes, we got an MVP backing up MVP. He goes, we're fine. We'll be good. I'm like, you're an idiot.
I think he's won that twice.
2-time, yeah.
2-time MVP.
So, yeah, to talk about stress, man, and I give my wife credit. She was in the living room the whole day watching. Usually she goes in the bedroom. She can't handle being around me either. But
Jerry, as somebody who's played in these games,
yes.
I mean, do you find yourself more poised, like, as a player than, fast forward to now being a fan?
No, it's kind of like a curse. It's kind of like Green Mile when my man says, I've been living 136 years, or however long it was. It's a curse because I see it all, and I'm watching and I'm going, I'm calling holds before there's flags on the field, and I'm seeing this, and I'm like, why the heck aren't they going here? And So yeah, I mean, it can be a bit of a curse, but yeah, that was a wild ride, man. I'm exhausted. That was a wild ride today. Believe
Yes,
me.
it was. Shout out Matt Prater.
Yes.
The Bills gambled, and he delivered for them. He hit his extra points. He hit from deep in this game. He was perfect, and they needed it.
I think that's a great call out. My X factor was the kicking game, right? When we talked on the last squad show.
Let's revisit.
Yes.
Kicking game.
So how about that, right? The Bills overcame it. Prater is able to go and makes all of his kicks, including the 50-something yarder after they took a delay of game. Boy, that would have been messy if they didn't make that. And you think a lot about Cam Little missing that kick, but how about the punt by Wisnowski to pin him down at the 1?
Yeah.
To make that field goal and that drive, as hard as possible. So while, you could talk about the Ray Davis fumble, but ultimately I think when it comes to kickers and punters, the Bills overcame it in this one.
Yep.
Yeah, and obviously Wisniewski, he had a couple of touchbacks or whatever you'd like to not have, and then they went to the pooch steals, which was good. But no, I thought the kicking game was great. Prater still being in one piece is a victory in itself. Believe me.
Yeah, there's a lot of banged up right now. Like if you just zoom out, Josh Palmer and Gabe Davis at receiver, Ty Johnson's banged up. You've got Hairston's hobbling right now. Poyer. I mean, Jordan Phillips, like low key, that's significant. They need all the bodies they can get. And so like there are just a ton of bumps and bruises here over the last couple of weeks when you're trying to get healthy and stay healthy. And it's been tough.
It's the reminder, like sometimes we think like, oh, the bye would be nice, but really it's a full week of not getting anybody hurt. And this team has suffered some big losses in this round. I'm watching Gabe Davis go off the field, and it looked so bad like that he's going to be gone. So with now, I feel like I don't know what they did with Josh Palmer. Doesn't it feel like he went from questionable to out to IR, meaning we're not going to mess around with you. You're not important enough. So we need the roster spot. And like, man, if you knew Gabe Davis was going to go out, you might've done something differently and kind of held out hope that Palmer would get healthy in time, because Palmer's season being over means like Keon Coleman is going to be a big part of this offense going forward.
He had a big 36-yard catch, but this is back-to-back weeks where he catches the ball and then just looking to get tackled, and a freaking linebacker comes and gets him. But, I mean, real quick, Jerry, but seriously, I'm not trying to be funny, but like, should they sign Elijah Moore off the Broncos practice squad? Or something's got to happen here. They don't have enough bodies here at receiver. I mean, Mecole Hardman off the practice squad, this is dicey.
I think so, too. I think they need to bring somebody in to have it as an insurance policy. But what I will say is this about Keon Coleman. With the insurgents or the insertion of Brandon Cooks in the offense, now you have somebody that's able to do the stuff we were asking Keon to do earlier in the year that he can't do. So now you put Keon in a less primary role, and you get a soft spot behind the cover 2 corner where the safety can't get there, and you make a good play. So if you're asking him to do those, complementary type routes and things, I think Keon can do that. The problem I have is when Keon plays every play and he's the guy that's got to go get separation downfield and he's the primary receiver, he can't do that. So with Cooks being a part of this, now it puts Keon where he probably needs to be at number 2 or number 3, and it fits a little bit better. But I do agree they need to go get another receiver.
We'll see who they can get. Slim pickings right now. But again, like maybe the practice squad from the Broncos, who they could end up playing next. Josh Allen, here's some stats for you for Josh Allen. In this game, when trailing, he was 14 of 16 for 195 and 3 total touchdowns and a 133 passer rating. And, it's funny, like if you've watched the first 3 games of these playoffs, you saw Rams, Panthers, then you saw Bears, Packers, and then you saw Bills, Jags. By the way, 3 electric games down to the wire. And all 3, and this is like not to go all the way back to the wide receiver train, but like, running the football gets a lot of love from this team, and it does. But, man, you're not going to win unless you can throw. And today the Bills could do it. They could throw against this Jacksonville team. You've got, the best quarterback in football. So far, we're 3 games in. And, guys, it almost feels like these games, the first halves especially, even the third quarter, are just like warm-ups, slow play. And then here comes the fourth quarter, and everyone goes bonkers. And this game had 28 points in the fourth quarter. The Bears in the fourth quarter go absolutely nuts. The Rams
6 points going into the fourth quarter.
Right. There's a whole lot of feeling of too much time left because right now offenses, they are efficient. And while maybe the point totals aren't big, when these modern day offenses need it, you got a great play caller or a great quarterback, they're getting their points. And that's the story of today in this game as well.
Well, you just don't put yourself in a position to lose a game early. And when you get to the fourth quarter, then you open it up and you can take those chances because it's do or die. But I think that's the one thing I thought Josh did a wonderful job of today. He did not force anything. And maybe this whole Valhalla self-scouting session that he had, like, open this up. And maybe when we're sitting there holding the Lombardi trophy, we can look back at that moment when he was given, Joe's Substack tape of all the scouting stuff. And he saw what he was doing wrong. But that's the thing. I thought he did great today. I thought he did that. I thought he did a wonderful job of that. He did not force anything, because you'll see him sometimes in these types of games do that. And man, punting is a good play in football. It really is. And the Bills did a good job of it. Josh Allen did a good job of keeping things under control and keeping it within reach.
He took what was there. We'll look forward to the All-22 review, which, of course, Joe will put out in the Locked On channel later this week. We'll get a break in, and when we get back, we'll wrap up with some comments from you. And also, I want to get you guys on record who you would prefer to play next. It's worth a conversation, right? We don't know, and we won't fully know until Monday night. We'll have an idea. Well, I guess we could know. Sorry. If the
Chargers win.
Yeah. If the Chargers win, well, if the Chargers win, we won't know because it's one of two teams. If the Patriots win, the Bills are playing Denver. So it's going to be the only team it can't be is New England. It's going to be Denver, or it's going to be Houston, or it's going to be Pittsburgh. I'll get you guys on which one you'd like to see when we return. Bill Squad Show playoff victory Sunday and Monday. Celebrate Bills Mafia. Back for another week. Get the schedule, get the opponent. Exciting times. What a game. What a game. Bill Squad Show back in a moment. This episode of Bill Squad is brought to you by Robinhood. Well, Robinhood. It's what if sports were traded like markets? Now you can put your sports IQ to work in real time with Robinhood prediction markets. It's not you against the house. It's you participating in the live market. You can buy or sell your positions live all game long with Robinhood. Robinhood prediction markets change the game. It's people moving the action. So when momentum shifts, you can move with it. Of course, I always knew the game, never had a dynamic way to apply that knowledge. Now you can actually take part live in a market powered by people. You're no longer just a spectator. Play by play, you decide. Trade every play with Robinhood, now available across the U.S. Download the Robinhood app now to begin. Futures and cleared swaps trading involves significant risk and is not appropriate for everyone. Event contracts are offered by Robinhood Derivatives, LLC, a registered futures commission merchant and swap firm. Bill Squad on a victory Sunday into a victory Monday, victory Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, all the way to next week. Bills win 27-24. The Jaguars sent home. You can't spell Duval without an L. Sorry. I just wanted to do it. Duval, L. Up next, Denver, Houston. I mean, we'd love Pittsburgh. I think everybody. So let's move that one over there. You take Pittsburgh in a heartbeat. Right. I assume everyone would prefer Pittsburgh. If they could shock Houston, that'd be great. Okay. So Denver or Houston, either will be on the road. Which would you prefer to avoid? Do you feel like it doesn't matter?
You know my answer.
I know you're down with Denver, right?
You're afraid
I still have I'm not afraid, but I do have PTSD. Yes, very much so.
You think
you can say it, Joe? You can say it.
I don't know. I mean,
you say
it's Houston's offense a little.
Houston.
I don't think they're the boogeyman. I don't.
Right.
It's not. I understand the narrative, but they've had so many chances to win these games that everyone just thinks we're just horrible. And I mean, don't you feel like there's like an element of you've kind of learned exactly what not to do in those games against them, and like the way your defense is playing against CJ Stroud. I mean, I guess you can say the same thing about Bo Nix, but I think it's harder to go to Denver a mile high and the challenges of that compared to Houston. I'm a little bit indifferent. You could talk me into either one. Jeremy, do you have convictions on this?
I don't. I might ask you to think about it a different way. Okay. Do you want New England?
Yes.
Okay. So
I do want New England.
If you want New England, do you think New England is set up to beat Houston? Because you might want to think about it that way, right? Like, all right, if the Patriots win tonight, then let's send the Bills to Denver, and then send the Patriots will host Houston. And could they knock out Houston? Like, Jerry, if you've got PTSD about Houston, I feel like what you should focus on is like who can get them out, right? Because you don't have to play everybody. You're not going to have to play the Chargers if you're afraid of the Chargers, which of course you might not be.
Now, I wouldn't go as far as Joe said. I don't think that Houston is like the Baba Yaga, as John Wick would call it, the boogeyman, but or John Wick is the boogeyman. But I just, man, we just have not. It's just maybe the stadium and everything down. We haven't had good luck there, whether we were close to winning or not. No matter how bad we played, we still could have won. It just there's the field down there has not been right. But who knows, man? If it fits better, then let's go roll. But I don't know. I'm just not. I think Denver's good. Everybody in the playoffs is good, obviously. But if you can't have New England, you can't have Pittsburgh. I would probably play the Broncos.
Does the bye layer to Denver influence this at all? I mean, extended rest and all that.
Maybe. I'll go so far as to tell you guys this: when it was Rams-Panthers and the Rams were in trouble, I was over here rooting for the Panthers because if the Bills get all the way there, the Rams are a team I think could, be very, very difficult. So like all the good teams getting knocked out, Carolina, the Bills beat by, 30 or whatever. So
let me ask you guys this, since we're talking about who we want to play. That defense we just beat, okay? Is Denver or Houston better than that defense? Are their defenses better than the defense we just beat on the road, hostile environment? Are those two defenses equals or better than Jacksonville?
Not as good against the run.
I have an answer that's a little bit different. Like if you want to go after the run, Joe, what I would say is both those defenses have big players make big plays in the playoffs. Jacksonville doesn't have those guys, I don't think. They've got some nice players, right? Josh Hines-Allen is their best player. Trayvon Walker had a nice tackle on James Cook today. Like Newsome, but Nick Bonito, Patrick Surtain, right? Like I've got dudes on the Denver defense and I've got dudes on the Houston defense in a way that I just don't think Jacksonville has that top tier guy that those guys have.
Who's Surtain's counterpart?
Riley Moss.
Riley Moss.
Has he been successful as Benito?
He gets targeted all the time because of Surtain.
He's got a tough job.
He has a really tough job.
No, what I'm saying is that I'm not talking corners. I'm talking the defensive end opposite of Nick Bonito.
It's the number guys. They have Jonathan Cooper. They have John Franklin Myers,
and they have a defensive tackle who's also
Zach Allen.
Right?
Yes, Zach Allen.
Okay, yeah. That's where I look at it as an offensive lineman, and I'm looking at matchups and stuff. They've got Nick Bonito and a bunch of guys. They've got two freak shows in Houston. Yeah. You know what I mean? That's how I look at it. Now, granted, there's other areas that fit and don't fit. I just look at the way that pass rush and that defense has altered what we do offensively. Granted, I know we were close to winning even both times when Josh Allen had 30 yards passing and we still had a chance to win. But still, that's what I look at. I look at it as an offensive lineman and who I'm having to block. And
if the defenses are close, should we talk more about the offense? We haven't even mentioned Bo Nix or CJ Stroud.
Right. I would like which of those teams runs it better? That's Denver, maybe. I don't know. They don't run it great.
Either one runs it particularly well.
No.
Denver's got a better offensive line than Houston for sure.
All right. So if you look at it that way, okay, CJ Stroud, but I don't think Bo Nix is close to Trevor Lawrence.
No. But Denver's offensive line might be 10 times better than what Houston has.
Yeah. Yeah. Houston's been getting better. They're a little healthier. The thing, now that we're through one game, we can maybe kind of revisit the point, the over talked about talking point, like no Lamar, no Mahomes, no Burrow. Really,
no Trevor Lawrence either.
No Trevor Lawrence, right?
Yeah, he's out. Yeah.
And Joe and I agreed that if there was one team we wanted to avoid in the first round, it was this Jacksonville team.
Yes,
because I thought they had a lot of balance. They could win maybe in multiple ways. So for the Bills to have already cleared that hurdle, like all right, now who's next? Play your A game, have 17, have McDermott make those quarterbacks that are not 17 look mortal, because they've been losing to the other guy that is a wizard. So there's no wizards left.
Let me ask a question, because I feel like I think the world was ready for the Bills to lose today and for all the conversations that we're going to have. what now? Like, how does that shift for you guys in particular, where we're not talking about the disappointment of being one and done in the playoffs. We're not talking about a road playoff loss. We're not talking about McDermott blowing it. There's a good story to tell here. Now, obviously there's more to come, but the fact that they avoided what everybody was ready to bury them for, like, what's the thought for you guys?
I think that it gets louder, more pressure now because you're closer. Now's your time. Now's your year. I mean, we could view it through the prism of what the shouty shows are saying, or what do we feel? They're one step closer. This was a big test passed. Half the teams in the playoff field are going to be eliminated. By Monday at midnight, I'm going to tell you, you're down to 8 teams. How do you like your chances? You're going to look around and think like, I might like them. I might like them quite a bit. As flawed as they are, I might like your chances,
But I'm going to go as far as to say this, and I'll continue to say it. As well as he played today, wins and losses are still not a quarterback stat, in my opinion. I think that, yes, it's awesome. He played well. He did what he had to do, and obviously took the fourth quarter over. But I think this team is a lot further down the road in maturation as far as handling these types of playoff games. Sean McDermott did a great job on the sideline today, I thought. They didn't have many blunders as far as decision-making. The review that they threw, the red flag was appropriate. Obviously, I think that this team's a lot further down the road than some of the gaffes that we had, 5 years ago or 4 years ago in these playoff situations. So as much as you want to put the onus upon Josh Allen, and he deserves it, he should get a lot of praise in this situation. I think you got to praise this Bills team, because this is, again, with the roster they have and what they're doing, this is a team win. It's a team win across the board, and it was impressive for the organization, not just because of one player, which I think goes in line with what we preached all week, Joe and Jeremy, about these idiots in the national media putting all this on Josh Allen. It's his legacy game or whatever. Well, just give me a break. I mean, I just think that this team, again, we talked about it. Does playoff experience mean something? And today it showed it definitely does.
I'm going through the weekly fourth down decision list. We like to get into this sometimes. And right before the half, like, now we can look in the rearview mirror and not be afraid of a kicker is going to hit from 70. It's 4th and 4. They're up 3 at the Jags 45, and they decide to punt. Right? They take the penalty and they punt and end up pinning the Jags back and like, all right, that's the end of the half. Is that the first punt in NFL history that was a direct result of the other team's kicker? Like, are they afraid, hey, if Prater doesn't hit from distance, or if we go for this, he's already in range?
Were you thinking that they were going to go for that, Jeremy? What was your read on the situation as it happened?
Well, Jerry texted our group chat. Jerry knows it's not fully guaranteed scientific. If it's 4th and 2 this year, McDermott goes. If it's 4th and 3 or 4, he punts. And he did that today. That was 4th and 4. If that's 4th and 2, I bet he goes. He likes 2, and he doesn't want to go any bigger than that, unless it's like a much bigger spot. But he's not going to – I think this year he's a little bit more timid and a little bit more, I'm not going to get us killed on a 4th and 4. So I was not surprised that he punted. He kind of half fooled me on trying to get them off sides. Like, when they stayed on the field, I thought, like, okay, this is a spot. But I was thinking about Cam Little. I was thinking about this. If somebody drops a pass here, it's 3 points for Jacksonville. But ultimately, they didn't get it. So, what a win. Josh Allen.
I'll say this. I do want to get into something that I haven't talked about yet, and say what you will. But I thought Jacksonville was physical. I did think they took some shots that were unnecessary. I thought the Davis shot on Josh Allen early in the game, I thought was ridiculous. I thought it should have been penalized. They had him on the ground when he tried to run on the 3rd down or whatever. They got him on the ground, and then Davis comes in with a full body weight kind of splash on top of Allen, which
that's wrestling Yokozuna. That's the
yes.
What do they call that thing? The bonsai drop. The bonsai drop. Yeah, you got bonsai
whatever.
drop by Josh.
Yeah, like all of a sudden.
I don't get a lot of pop culture references. I got to get them out there.
Well, it's hard with me because I'm the king.
I had to take it, Jeremy. Even if it meant interrupting you, I had to do it.
Jeremy's pretty good. He's close, but you're a distant third. But anyway, I'm proud of you for that.
Thank you.
That was good. But no, seriously, I think that was ridiculous. That should have been flagged. And I don't know if the league sees it and finds it. I doubt they will. But the whole, oh my gosh, I lost my balance, and then he goes full body weight on Josh Allen's head and chest area. I thought that was pretty questionable.
Yeah. Well, We're fortunate to be around in a time watching Josh and these playoffs. I'm going to leave you guys and all you out there watching. Thanks for tuning in. Leave you with a stat of the day. Ready about these playoffs, and it comes from Doug Clawson, CBS Sports. We are 3 games into the postseason. There have been 3 game-winning touchdowns in the final 2 minutes of the fourth quarter. That is already the most in a single postseason in NFL history.
Man.
3 games in, 3 most ever. Game-winning touchdowns in the final 2 minutes.
NFL is king.
That's right.
Yes, it is.
You want to know how king the NFL is? This is like, I was at the Sabres game last night, and during that game, it's Rams-Panthers finishing up, and people are on there. There's a hockey game in front of them. I'm guilty too. And they're like, watching Rams-Panthers. Like, what's going on in this game? Like, just checking in on the Rams.
And that game got goofy at the end last night. I'm watching these Sabres, man. I got a couple hats. I'm ready to go, man. I'm ready to go. I'm in.
Hey, go ahead, Jeremy.
I'll say this about the Sabres. Like, when the 2 teams are good at the same time, that does not happen a lot. But leaving that Sabres game last night, the vibe was like ready for Bills Mafia, like, because it is Bills Mafia in that building. And the Sabres put a message up from a couple players named Josh Doan, Josh Dunn, Josh Norris, like, good luck, Josh. The shout song in the arena, like, it kind of it builds it brings it back together. So the vibes were incredible last night, and just awesome that they got the win today and on to next week. So yeah.
Rough couple weeks for the state of Georgia. Their college football team loses. Their two NFL teams lose. Falcons aren't in the playoffs, and then their other team, the Jaguars, they lose. I mean, rough couple weeks for the state of Georgia.
Tough. Good luck to Indiana going forward. That's a machine for you. All right. Our schedule. We'll be back midweek. This is, if you're just joining, first time you're seeing us, we'll do a midweek show. That one be a big preview of the next matchup. So subscribe to the Locked On Bills podcast hosted by Joe. Of course, it's wherever you get your podcast. It's Locked On Bills, #1 podcast in the Locked On Podcast Network. Everybody listens to Joe. So be sure you're on that.
All right.
What?
In the comments, yes, I know they are in Florida, folks. It's a joke. Jacksonville is South Georgia. I get it. I'm not that dumb. I'm not sharp, but I'm not that dumb.
Well, hey, you're allowed. You're allowed. What'd you make what's the reference you made earlier? You made a movie reference or something.
It's Tombstone.
Tombstone. Yeah, you got some love on the Tombstone references. So we'll be back midweek. Join us midweek. We'll preview the matchup, whether it's Denver, Houston, Pittsburgh. We'll be ready for you. And off to another week of Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills. Until then, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, all that good stuff. And go Bills.
Go Bills.
We earned the right to be back next week, folks. Much love. Go Bills.